and welcome to another book talk. Today I want to talk to you about The Summer of Impossible Things by Rowan Coleman. I'm so lucky because so many of my absolute favourite authors have got books out this summer, and I've got time to read them and time to talk about them, and it's just great. So I knew I wanted to make a video about this one because this book is very different from Rowan's last book and kind of her last few books, and so I wanted to kind of spread the news of that and spread my love for the book. I will read you the blurb to make sure that I don't give away anything when I'm talking about the plot. So, if you could change the past, would you? 30 years ago, something terrible happened to Luna's mother, something she's only prepared to reveal after her death. Can we just stop for a moment? I love the name Luna. I love the fact that this main character was called Luna. Love it. Now, Luna and her sister have a chance to go back to their mother's birthplace and settle her affairs, but in Brooklyn they find more questions than answers until something impossible, magical, happens to Luna, and she meets her mother as a young woman back in the summer of 1977. At first, Luna thinks she's going crazy, but if she can truly travel back in time, she can change things. But in doing everything to save her mother's life, will she have to sacrifice her own? Again, this is one of those books, I didn't read the blurb before I bought it. Rowan Coleman is always going to be somebody, she's an author. I will always read her books. I will always talk about them all over the internet. I love Rowan's writing. I love her books. I love her as a person. So that blurb, whew, so intriguing. I love the fact that it talks about the fact that there's something impossible and something magical that happens, and we know from the blurb that she meets her mother as a young woman back in the summer of 1977. And the fact that this was in the summer of 77 and it happened over 4 days. The book takes place over 4 days, and it basically happens like the week after this book was released. So this book was released on the 29th of June, and then these things happen in like the next week in July, and that ties in with the big blackout that happened across the 5 boroughs of New York. And it actually led me to watch a documentary about the blackout because I read the book and I was like, oh, you know, I want to find out a little bit more about that. I love when a book makes me want to find out more about things, and I'm sure that's happened before with one of Rowan's books. I can't remember exactly which one, but I love it when it kind of makes me want to read more and find out more and research more and go places and see things and find out things, and that book really did this. I also had the privilege of reading this book whilst I was actually in New York, so I kind of got a feeling for the area whilst I was there. I didn't make it all the way out to Park Ridge, but it was still great to be reading it whilst I was there. So the fact that there is that little bit of magic in here and that little bit of kind of intrigue and impossibility, I really enjoyed. I sometimes struggle with things like that to kind of suspend my disbelief and go, this is actually happening, but I really didn't struggle with this one because Luna is so real and her mum feels so real and the storyline itself is completely real. I didn't struggle in any way to go, okay, now she's going back to 77 and speaking to her mother. That aspect of it really didn't bother me at all, and I think it just added to the magic of the book. There's also a little bit of romance in this book. It was just the perfect kind of balance of the drama of, you know, what happened to her mother, the magic of the fact that she's traveling back in time, and then the romance. It was just a great balance. So this book's got kind of a little bit of everything, a little something for everyone. Luna as a character was really interesting and really kind of changes and grows as the book goes on, but it's more about her relationships and her relationship with her mother then and now, and her relationship with her sister kind of being there then affects it now. And I thought, you know, she was a really good character to carry the story. She was just strong enough but not too strong to make her not believe what was happening to her and kind of not make her too cynical, and she was just strong enough to not make her a walkover and to know that she had to in some way help her mother. She was a really good character. Some of the characters that we meet back in 77 we also see in the present day. I'm not going to go into any detail there because I don't want to do any spoilers, but it's interesting, you know, seeing people back then versus back now. Obviously we know that there's a father in the picture too, so whether we meet him then or him now as well. And I really loved the setting, the fact that it was set in this kind of heat wave of that time, and the kind of the bubbling pot that area was at that time is really interesting. And it's all described so well, and it's set around the fact that they were kind of shooting Saturday Night Fever in that area at that time as well. So the book also made me want to watch Saturday Night Fever. But yeah, the setting, the characters, the storyline were all just lovely, and summer was the right time to be reading this book. I think, you know, the fact that we had the heat of the city described in the book and then reading it in the heat of the city was really, really good, and it definitely was the right time to release this book. As I say, it's got that perfect balance across the storyline, and we've got the sort of magic of the storyline and the intrigue of what Luna's going to do, what effect her action's going to have, whether she's going to act at all. It was all just woven so beautifully together, and I really do think that this book's got a little bit of something for everybody in here. So as I say, this was released on the 29th of June in the UK, but you can order it now. I'll leave the buy links down below. I really recommend it. I love a Rowan Coleman read, but this is completely different to anything else she's written, but it's still such a worthwhile read. It was so entertaining, and you get so wrapped up in this story. I read it in 2 sittings because I was just so into the story. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to hear more from me, I've got lots of videos coming soon. Do hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you on board. Let me know in the comments if you've read any Rowan Coleman novels, not just this one, because I am a massive fan, so I would love to hear from you as well. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.